Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Sunday here and I'm jumped on to do a project with you. I'm going to make a box today. I have to make a bunch of boxes as thank you gifts for the sorority I belong to, and so I thought I would make one and get a box done and then I only have 22 others left to go, but also show you how easy these boxes are when you can make them from cardstock. And this one you could make bigger or smaller depending on what you wanted to put into it. This one from me is about 3.5 inches square, which I thought would handle putting some treats in it or maybe a cookie, and we'll see what I actually end up putting into it. So it's Sunday here today, and just about 10 minutes ago it was actually snowing here. It's April. This should have happened yesterday on April Fool's Day, but it actually was snowing. Luckily it wasn't sticking, so hopefully it's getting to be a little more spring-like where you are. All right, let's switch over and I will show you what I'm going to make. So let's move this down a little bit. So this is the little box. I kind of just put one together. It's made from just cardstock. I'm using mint macaron cardstock. This is one of the colors that's going to be retiring come the end of April. So if you love this color, you might want to get this one on your wish list sooner than later. But I thought that pretty sure this is about 3.5 by 3.5 finished. Oops. Yeah. So, a nice size will fit a cookie or some treats, whatever you want to put into it. It doesn't seem, I don't think I burnished it very well, but I'm actually going to put a belly band around it when I finish. So like I said, yeah, I do too, Sandy. So it's always nice when you can actually get one and make from a single piece of cardstock. All right, so cut. My cardstock is cut 5.5 by, let's see, got my trimmer here, 5.5 by 10. Oh, I should have said what I'm going to use here. I'm actually going to use the Country Bouquet bundle. So it's a punch bundle. So I thought bunching out some hearts and some leaves would be good for this as opposed to die cutting. I don't like to do, when I have to do a lot of these, which I do for this, I like to make it, something easier, which is punches. And I'm going to put a belly band around it. Okay, so 5.5 by 10. Now on the long side, no, I guess, sorry, on the short side, on the 5.5 inch side, I always get that mixed up. We're going to score this at 1 inch, so all the way down, and at 4.5 inch. So it's basically going to be scored at 1 inch on each side. There we go. And then we're going to turn it 90 degrees and we're going to score it at 1 inch and then at 4.5 inches. I'm going to measure just before I score this and make sure. So 1 inch, yeah, 4.5 inches. Should have written these instructions down. 5.5 inches and 9 inches. And I'll go over these once I get my paper out of my paper trimmer. There we go. Okay, so we scored it at 1 inch and at 4.5 inches. And then we turned it 90 degrees and we scored it at 1 inch, 4.5, 5.5, and 9. So if you missed any of those, let me know and I can give them to you. I'm also going to do a blog post in this, but it won't go out for a week or so. So again, 1 inch and 4.5, and then 1 inch, 4.5, 5.5, and 9. Okay, so then it's easier to cut. Actually, it's easier to burnish this with your bone folder before you actually get your cuts in it. So take your bone folder and you really give it a nice burnish. I think that's what's wrong with the box that I kind of put together quickly. So burnish on all of the score lines. So I'm pressing quite hard to get a nice crease. Then turn it and burnish on all of the score lines going the other way. Hey, Felicia. I started with 5.5 by 10 is what I started with. And then we will take and score like that. Okay, so we've got all of our score lines. It also helps so that we can actually see. So I'm going to start with these 2 score lines in the middle. And what you want to do is I'm just cutting a V shape on either side of that score line. Just, it reduces the bulk. So I've now got a V in that, a little kind of triangle cut out. And we're going to do that on the other side. Cut that little notch out. You could cut up on that score line and then cut the little V, but I just find it one less cut by just cutting that little triangle out. Now turn it so that you've got kind of the short end in front of you. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut on this score line. So this is that 1 inch score line. And then we're going to cut a notch on the smaller flap, if that makes sense. So we're going to, this is going to be the middle of our card. So I'm cutting on this little tiny flap on the front, and I'm going to cut a notch on both sides of that little tab. And we're going to repeat on this side. So cut up on the score line, and then in this case, on this little tab on the to the right of that score line, we're going to cut to reduce some of the bulk. And then you're going to turn it and do the same on the other end. Cut up on the score line and then notch the little tab, that 1 inch by 1 inch tab. And one more. Up. And then I might as well cut this one out too. There we go. All right, so there is all of our notches cut out. Okay, so when this goes together, these two are, the middles are going to fold in. This is going to be put together and formed in a box. These will tuck in. This will form into the top of the box, and then it will all kind of fold in on itself like that. So you can use liquid glue, or I like to use tear and tape adhesive. And I'm just going to put it on these notches. So you don't have to have a lot. So I'm just going to put little strips. If you've got a little, I don't know where my credit card, oh, there it is. If you've got a little old credit card, or this is a whole transit card when I lived in Vancouver, you can actually use it to cut if you don't want to grab your scissors. Just really easy to, it's easy to tear this tape anyway. So I'm just putting little strips of tear and tape, and I'm only putting them on these two notches on each end of my card base. That's the only, or box base. That's the only part that's actually going to be adhered down. An old hotel key works really well. I always forget to give my hotel keys back in. All right, so I've got my tear and tape. And then, oh, a Stampin' Block actually works too. Yeah, you know what? And do you know what I just did? I just put these tape. So you actually wanted to put it on that side, because these are going to fold to the inside. So I'm going to just turn my scores over. Doesn't really matter. So that I've got my tear and tape on the right side. So I want it to stick. I want these little notches to fold inwards. So there we go. Okay, so then take your pick tool. And I'm going to do one at a time so that I don't have all of the tear and tape adhesive so that it will stick all over. So then I'm just going to line up my edge that I folded in with the front edge of my box. And on the same with this one. If you use liquid glue, it absolutely gives you a little more wiggle room, but you also end up having to hold it with your fingers because it takes a little longer to actually adhere, and then it can wiggle around. And so you kind of want to hold it with your fingers until you know that it's no longer moving. Okay, so that's the front of the box. And now we're going to do the same on the top. I guess that's the bottom of the box. And now we're going to do the same on the top of the box. So these will go together very quickly once you've got them all, got it cut and scored. Again, we're lining up the edge, and one more. That, and our last edge, line it up. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to just fold this and burnish it a little bit with my fingers since I actually folded it in. All right, so when this box sews together, these little flaps will fold in and fold towards the front, and then the lid fits over. Actually, this one's not too bad as far as staying down, but burnishing it really helps. All right, so that's the box. Hopefully that makes sense. It's really easy to put together, but now we can actually do the fun part, which is doing some decorating. So I've pulled out, this is the Country Floral Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper. So I've pulled out a couple of the patterns. This has got Petal Pink, Mint Macaron, and Sweet Sorbet. So I cut a piece that's 3.5 by 3.5, and I'm just going to, oh yeah, that works really well, little clothespins. Or if you have some of those Wonder Clips, I quilt, so Wonder Clips work really well, or a paper clip works too, to just hold it in place with the glue. So I cut a piece of the Designer Series paper that's 3.5 inches square, and I'm just going to put that right in the bottom of my box, just so that there's something pretty when they open the box up. And I'm using the same Designer Series paper. So this is 3.5 by 3.5. And I'm going to use the same Designer Series paper on the top of my box. If you wanted to, you could actually decorate the sides of your box. So those are 1 inch, your sides. So you maybe 3/4 of an inch strips and decorate the sides of your box. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to put a belly band on. Okay, so we've got the Designer Series paper inside and also on the top of our box. Looking better already. Okay, so then I cut. You will end up with a strip of cardstock when you cut your card. Cut your cardstock. So this is just a scrap, and I cut it. I think I cut it in half. Yes, I cut it in half. So I've ended up with a strip that is 1.5 by 11. And this will be good enough, or size is perfect for going around my box. I've also cut a piece of the Designer Series paper. So this one's got the little hearts on it. So I cut this to be 1.25 inch. I think that's 1.25 inch. Yeah, 1.25 inches. And so I'm just going to take and adhere that to the front of, or to this cardstock. I decided that the little hearts in Sweet Sorbet, I'm going to use a whole mixture of the different colors. My bases, I think, are all going to be Mint Macaron, but I think my other colors are going to be, or other pieces of Designer Series paper are going to be a mix. All right, so I'm going to just adhere this lined up with the end. This is longer. The reason I grabbed my silicone mat is so that I don't get glue all over my grid paper, because I just put glue all the way down this strip. There we go. And now I'm just going to trim off this excess. There we go. Got glue on it. Of course, I've got glue on my fingers. Oh, okay. All right. So when I make a belly band, I don't score my belly band. Oops, let's make it go around the right way. So that's the front of our box. Yeah, I just kind of take it and wrap it gently and kind of finger fold it around the corners. So I'm just kind of pressing in to make a little bit of a corner. And then the same with this, just lightly pressing it. And you will have excess, so you can trim that off, or you can use, just kind of adhere it over top like that. So just wrap it around loosely. You don't want to put it too tight because that will mean it's going to be really hard to get your belly band off. Now I'm going to use tear and tape again, just because sometimes, let's see, how much do I need? Getting the belly band on and off will put a little bit of stress. So, okay, so I'm going to put about an inch or so, inch and a quarter of tear and tape on the edges of this. That will just give it lots of strength for when they decide to take the belly band off. So you could use liquid glue as well. Just make sure you give it lots of time to adhere. All right, so let's do this. Wrap it around and then just line up your edges. Belly bands are so easy when you do it this way, and don't stress over it being perfect. And I always put the seam on the front. You may say, why is she putting the seam on the front? I always do that because then I can decorate it, and then there's no seam on the back of my belly band. So I'm going to decorate right over top of that. Isn't that a cute little box? Okay, so let's do some stamping. I'm going to do, I've got Sweet Sorbet, Mint Macaron, and Petal Pink. So I'm going to stamp 4 hearts, 2 in Petal Pink, like that. And then let's clean off my block. Stamp. And we'll stamp 2 in Sweet Sorbet. Like that. I love this color combination of Sweet Sorbet and Petal Pink. Oops, I need my Sweet Sorbet. Okay, so one of the things I love about this bundle is these sentiments. I love this just wanted to say. I use it a lot. But for this one, I'm just going to say for you, because it's kind of generic who this is going to go to. So I'm just going to stamp it here, down here in the bottom. So then I will, of course, you know me, fussy cut. And then I'm going to stamp some of the leaves. I'm going to stamp maybe 2 sets of leaves in Mint Macaron. There we go. Oh, I think I saved that. Stuck. That could have been bad. I think when I cut this or punch this out. All right, let's cut down the middle so I don't cut when I don't want to punch out. So let's put this in. Hopefully I can, there we go. We've got a little tab. If you ever cut a piece and want to punch it out and realize you don't have enough to hang on to, just grab a Post-it note and put on the end of your card stock, and then so you can hang on to the piece of paper. This one I've got just enough to hang on to. There's your leaves. There we go. Okay, and then we will take and punch out these hearts. I love these hearts. This bundle, well, the punch, I believe, is not in stock, but it is coming back into stock because it is being carried over in to the new annual catalog, which I was so excited to see that. Okay, so where's our box? So I'm just gonna kind of decorate with hearts. I also have some of the, this is the In Color Baker's Twine. And so I thought I would use some of this sweet sorbet. Oh, a conversion. I've converted you over to fussy cutting. So I've wrapped that around 3 times. My fingers, just going to take it off, pinch it in the middle like that. And then before I adhere my hearts down, I'm just going to take and put that over like that. So that will hold my twine. You don't have to put, that's kind of a lot of twine. I'm not sure I'd use that much next time around, but all right. So then we can just take and put a dimensional on the back of these hearts. Now, when you're putting your hearts down, don't forget you only want to stick them down to the belly band. You don't want to stick them to the box at all. All right, so like that. And then we've got the little hearts. Figure out where we're going to put those. Probably need mini dimensionals for those. Yeah. All right. And then where did my other one? Oh, there it is. Thought I'd lost my heart. Okay, there we go. And then we will use glue dots for the little leaves. Like that. And then grab your glue dots. I like to use glue dots when I'm sticking little things down underneath, especially when you've got something popped up like these hearts. It makes it really easy to just put a glue dot on and stick it underneath. You could stick it, put the glue dot on the front, so it's on the ink side. In this case, I'm going to stick it down and put it on the. It's adhering to the belly band itself. Okay, let's get this underneath like that. It's kind of funny to have leaves on hearts, but just kind of adds some detail to it. And one more. Let's put that there, like that. Okay. I'm going to put just a glue dot to stick my 2 hearts together. These 2 big hearts are kind of seem to be pulling a heart away from each other. So let's get that down. And then, there we go. Those are down. Okay. So all I need to do now is cut my For You out. And I'm just going to cut in a rectangle. I just find this so much easier just to cut that out and not worrying if it's perfectly straight than trying to stamp it on a little tiny piece and hopefully getting it straight. I don't know. I can cut it straighter than I can stamp it. Maybe that's my problem. All right. So I'm going to take that and put it here on the front of the box. It says For You. And then I grabbed, these are the Elegant Faceted Gems, and they go so nicely. These pink ones are kind of petal pink-ish. So I thought I'd use those. These are also retiring. So I thought I would add some of these Elegant Faceted Gems to my box. There we go. I love it. Yes, I'm really happy with this box. So easy to make it, which is a good thing because like I said, I have 23 of them. I now have 1 finished, yay. So hopefully it won't take me too long to get the rest done. It's pretty easy. I can do the stamping and punching and stuff out fairly quickly and have it all done. And then it'll be just a bit of an assembly line. And then I have to figure out what goes in them. So it might be some little chocolate treats. It may be some tea. It's possible it'll be one of my decorated cookies now that I've taken a cookie decorating class. I just have to kind of get all the ingredients to make some cookies and do some practicing. But there will be something put in it and will be given away. So, all right, if you have any questions or you want the measurements, just leave a comment. I will be doing a blog post in a week or so's time, and we'll be sharing all of sharing this video as well as the measurements. So you can find it on there as well. But if you want it sooner than that, watch the video again or just message me or comment and I will give you the measurements. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. I will be okay, I'm not sure. Sorry, somebody's coming in through Facebook and I can't see who it is that wants the measurements. So if you can just tell me who you are, I will go into Facebook and look, but just leave me your name so that I can actually see and I will put the measurements on. I will be back. Tomorrow night's my class, Monday night card class. So hopefully you'll join me. It's at 7 o'clock on Zoom. Come and we'll make a card together. Tuesday night, my sketch challenge, I will be pre-recording it because I have, oh, hey, Jacqueline. Okay, perfect. I will put the measurements on for you. I will be, I have to go to a meeting on Tuesday night, so I will be pre-recording the sketch challenge. And then I'll be live on Thursday with either a technique or a mystery. I think it's a mystery challenge this week. I get them mixed up. I have to look all the time. But anyway, Tuesday and Thursday night, I will be live at 6:30. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day. And maybe you'll spend some time in your craft room. Happy stamping. Bye.